Okay, welcome everybody. We are doing the set review. Scotty, Nada, Mobieus, and myself for Innistrad. The spoilers went out yesterday, so you can vote live on the. I mean, if people are voting live, probably nobody here. Maybe like 5 people since I started the stream right now.
Did you add the command, Lola?
Yes, I added a comment.
And a plug as well.
Yes, the link you mean?
No, as in like a plug, it just comes up every now and then anyway.
Yes, it does. Oh, people are here.
You better change the mob frame I sent you or I will get real mad, says Ian.
I was just watching a limited resources review and they got the day-night mechanic wrong. We are probably not gonna get it wrong. So you came to the right place. Okay, so very important.
Are you reading chat?
Oh yeah, very
From
important.
Ian.
What do you say, Mobius?
From Ian. From Ian else.
What?
You're not reading the chat from Ian else.
Aha, okay, Lola, you better change the mob frame I sent you.
Morning, Bash.
Did you send me another one? You have something better for Mobieus? Okay, well, sure. Didn't see that, I just started the stream when you sent it to me. Okay, first, one of the most important things for a tier list, Scotty is gonna, well, redo the legend that you can see on any of our tier lists, just in case people are not going to gonna compare the tier list to other tier lists. Sure, you can do that, but you gotta keep in mind, like, A for our tier list might mean something different for other tier lists, maybe S, maybe a 5 number, so that is pretty important. Yes, I used the bit.ly link, Jonas. So, Scotty?
Okay, I'm going to read the legend word for word. So we are ranking on a letter scale. A, B, C, D, and F. Kind of like grades in the American education system. Who knows? Other people do it, so that's why we do it. A, best cards in the format, Bombs, completely changes the game in your favor, will almost single-handedly win you the game. There's Bs, which these cards are amazing. They're efficient removal, overstated creatures, powerful mana sinks, anything that is above the curve for its mana cost. Cs, which is going to be the bulk of cards that are fine on curve. You're not very excited to play them, but not sad to play them either. Most of your deck will probably consist of these cards in this rank. Sometimes cards in this rank will not make the cut for the final deck. D, ranges from medium to bad filler. Cards in this tier get cut a lot and require specific decks to be good playables. If your deck really needs a 2-drop, you have specific synergy with the card, or the card fills a weakness the deck has, for example. Most of the time, these will be the cards you throw in because you have low unplayables. There's Fs, which are unplayable. These cards can't even fill the gaping holes in your curve. Cards that hurt you more than they help you. There's also some special ticks that we can add onto some of the grades, which is a ceiling grade. Sometimes there's like a wide... I'll just read it. Grades can have a separate higher grade if they're a good build-around card that can have a lot of great synergy with the rest of the deck. In-color grade is here only for dual multicolor cards, and it represents the grade if you are already or close to being in those 2 colors. There's also a sideboard tick that we can do. Cards that have a sideboard column checked if they're good picks for the sideboard in best of 3 drafts. You don't ever want to pick these cards over the ones that are better for the main deck. Sideboard check doesn't affect the main deck grade of a card.
Well, that will be about the legend. You can always refer to it, read it, so you should probably do that whenever you're not sure what grade means. Well, are we gonna start? I think that would cover it. By the way, Volker Jonas, thank you so much for the gifts, and Ianos, thank you so much for these frames. Not sure why in the last minute.
Look how good it is!
Yeah, I don't know why Mobius got the best frame in the last few seconds. It's like, no, Mobius looks same as yours. Yeah. Let's make it better.
You don't even deserve this, Lola. Look how good it looks.
I don't deserve this frame. Well, that's why I didn't get it. Okay, so as almost always, we are gonna start with the colorless and then continue with multicolored and the white, blue, black, red, green. But first, the big deal about this set, the pretty important thing is definitely day and night cycle. Do you want me guys to like quickly go over that?
I think we should go over it when we get to the first card with it.
Okay, sure. All right.
Actually, I guess day is right here, so you could probably talk about it. Never mind.
Since that
I didn't realize you had it up.
Okay, so day and night cycle are gonna be affecting the battlefield a lot of times. The day and night doesn't have any effects that are tied to anything except the cards that interact with day or night. Usually day bound and night bound cards. It will make a difference on what side they enter the battlefield or in what they transform. Okay, so there is nothing on the field. As always with Magic, there is no you start with a day or whatever. Nothing. Oh yeah, I need to move the sub-history. So yeah, there's nothing. Whoop, gonna put this here. As always, you start the game, you play it, bam. A card that makes these, how do I say it? It's something like an emblem, like a board exclusive effect. It's usually a day-bound card. Or a card that says, when this card enters the battlefield, it becomes day. So, it's always or almost always gonna be day first. Am I correct? Or is there one card that...
There is at least one card that when you play it makes it night.
But, okay, but it doesn't make it day first, so it's just night, right?
It just makes it night. It doesn't... I don't think it cares if it was day. I forget it now, but...
Okay, so 99% of the cards are gonna be when it enters the battlefield. 99% of the cards that do something with day or night are gonna be when this card enters the battlefield or when you cast it, whatever. The day, if it's not day or night, it becomes day, and that's when day and night cycle begins. Not before. Something has to trigger it. It is never gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm playing Innistrad, I'm playing with day or night. So when it becomes day, nothing really happens. But because of this cycle, there is an effect. If a player casts no spell during their own turn, it becomes night next turn. So when it's day, everything enters the battlefield as day bound. Everything that has day bound or night bound. But that's normal. Like everything enters the battlefield as day bound, even if it's not a day. So when a player casts no spells during their own turn, so you cannot interact with it. While it's your turn, you can do something to make it day or night. But when it's not your turn, you cannot really do anything unless it's said on the card, like make night or whatever. So yeah. The player who is on the play has complete control over day or night. So a player played no spells on their turn. Boop, next turn it becomes night. As it becomes night, you transform all day-bound permanents into night-bound. Usually werewolves, 90% of the time werewolves. Some of the cards also change their effects depending if it's day or night. Some instant sorceries and so on. So, while it's night, again, nothing gets +X+X, there are no effects, it just affects the permanents that have some ability that is affected by day or night, usually day bound or night bound. And again, you can only make day or night, you can only interact with if it's gonna be day or night during your own turn. So let's say you cast 2 spells during your turn. Next turn it is gonna become day. Whoop, we go back to day, and everything transforms into day bound. And everything enters the battlefield on its day bound side, the front side. The permanents that you're gonna... Okay, we're gonna get to some rules of the permanents when we get to the permanent. I think that's good. So I hope everything is clear now about day and night. If you're not sure, ask again. I'm sure somebody in chat is going to help, and we might be referring to this again. Do you guys have anything to add about day or night?
No, it only cares about, when flipping, it only cares about the active player, which I think I've heard most people getting confused about. Like, if you cast 2 instants on your opponent's turn, it's not going to flip it to daytime.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I think Lola went over that.
But it's good to repeat.
Regardless of whose turn it is, both yours and your opponent's day-bound permanents will transform if it becomes night, right? Yeah. It's a board-wide effect, not side.
It's definitely different from the original Innistrad, set, where you could interact with it even if it was not your turn. So that's a big deal. So I think it's good to repeat, because I think quite a bit of people played original Innistrad, so just in case they are not confused. And again, it is a bit simpler to make it tonight than to make it today. But it really depends on what turn it is and so on. Okay. Guys, time to start the card review. You ready? You want to say anything before we begin?
Yeah, who's reading first color?
I don't care. We can start from the left. Mobieus.
I'm in.
Okay. Are we doing colorless?
First you're doing colorless, yeah.
Okay. So the syntax for that is what again? Is booster, color,
okay,
colon.
I'm gonna send you there you go. Here you go. Scotty, do you want to start then, while Mobieus prepares for the next one?
Sure. Let's talk about Crossroads Candle Guide. Crossroads Candle Guide is 4 mana, artifact creature Scarecrow, which is a 3/4. When Crossroad Candle Guide enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. You can pay 2 to add 1 mana of any color. So basically you can add 2 of any color into 1 mana of your choice, basically sort of like the Prismite-like fixing. Never really a super powerful effect, but if you need it, it's there. Overall, probably going to be relatively unexciting, an amalgamation of utility things that if they're all useful to you, it probably amounts to like a worthwhile card, but otherwise this looks like a card that gets passed up for other 4-drops. You probably never really want to prioritize it, but if you pick it up, you're not super unhappy about it. Like if your opponent has like some really important, impactful graveyard thing that you really need to like hate out, maybe you like sideboard in this in for some other like slightly more on its face powerful card, but overall looks like pretty medium filler to me. I'm gonna put this at a D+.
Yep, 3/4, nothing special, but I mean if you really need to fix, it's not the worst thing in the world. I think this is a bit better iteration of just from the stats and cost perspective. I think this is a little bit better than a Prismite if you're trying to splash, because Prismite is gonna trade with literally anything. This can block some things. Can block 2-drops, can block 3-drops most often, so it can survive without you taking a ton of damage, so you can fix, but the card that you're fixing for is gonna cost at least 1 more mana, which is never anything special. This set doesn't seem to have really good fixing, it's just like Evolving Wilds. The lands are not there, if I'm right. There is almost no colorless fixing, there is 1 uncommon. So yeah, this set doesn't seem to have good fixing. If you have anything else to say in the chat, tell me, maybe I'm wrong. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a nice role player for when you need that 3rd color. Maybe even 2 of these, it is common. But I think it's gonna be pretty easy to pick up. As Scotty said, in sideboard it's nice. I'm just gonna give it like a pretty high D+. But it definitely changes a lot depending on what you want to do with your deck. I might move it to a C-.
I'm on a D+ for this. Like, I think there's not half bad fixing in this set. We got the lands, we got some other stuff which I can't recall right now. Before we continue, you know the syntax you sent on Discord, Lola?
What is
if
that?
I copy the syntax for Scryfall that you sent me on Discord.
Yeah.
If I use the first one, Colorless Commons, the first thing that shows up is Jack-o'-lantern, not Crossroads Candle Guide. Is that a problem? Isn't it by CMC?
Oh, that's by CMC. Yeah, just order the remove the CMC. Order them by number.
Oh, we're not doing it by CMC.
Nope.
Didn't we do that last time?
The last time we did it by number. First the commons, then uncommons, then the rares and mythics by number.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this card. Exceedingly mediocre unless you're going triple colors. And even then, it's like not the best.
You know what? I'm gonna give it a C minus. Kind of want to splash in this. I'm not sure if I'm gonna splash that much because the synergies are pretty heavy. In a lot of like color pairs. So, we just started large. This is the first card. Damn, maybe it definitely goes up in some decks. And like 3/4 is really not too bad. Like removing a disturb or flashback card as well from the graveyard. But it is affordable. You don't need too many of these. Okay, D plus is fine. D plus is fine.
There's a
I'll
lot
say
of
one thing.
drop
Yeah.
in this set.
So I think one thing to note, or rather the first impression I got while looking through the set, the commons and uncommons in this set are hitters.
Yes.
Like the power level is very high for the commons and commons. Yeah. And like this card looks really strong on its face to me, at least, like on an initial read, but I think compared to the rest of the 4-drops that you want, this is always just not going to be it's going to be on the lower end of your 4-drops.
It is a very high power level set it seems. Okay. We are all on D plus, right?
Oh,
D+.
Didn't you go to C minus?
No, I'm on D plus in the end.
Okay.
Okay. Scotty?
All right, resetting. Let's talk about Jack-o'-lantern. 1 artifact, 1 tap. Sacrifice Jack-o'-lantern, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Draw a card. Or you can pay 1 and exile Jack-o'-lantern from a graveyard, and you can add 1 mana of any color. So you play this, you crack it, you exile something of theirs, you cantrip with it, right? Then you, from the graveyard, then you can sort of fix yourself. I think this card's not actually that bad. There's a couple, kind of like the Crossroads counter guide, it sort of spans multiple purposes. This is something cheap that you can double spell with if you really need to like emergency turn off your opponent's werewolves. The cantripping effect is not bad to draw into gas for more additional spells to cast to turn from night to day. Fixing, right? This is not the Prismite like fixing. This is actually just like a 1-to-1 fixing, so the fixing's not terrible. The opportunity cost to put this in your deck is not super, super high. And overall, I think this is reasonable. I don't particularly love this, but I could also see this being a relatively important part of people's game plans, especially if you're trying to fix or splash. I really do want to play a couple of these for splashing. So I kind of like it. I personally like it pretty decent amount. I'm going to put this one at a C minus.
So, yeah, I mean, sure. You remove the... It is kind of costly to do this for 2. Like for 2 you cycle, but it's gonna remove some flashback or not, or just you're gonna just cycle it, who cares? And yeah, it's gonna fix you at one point. You can also mill it, and it's gonna help you fix it. So yeah, I like this card. It is a one-off for fixing, so with this you're gonna be splashing, helping a little bit to splash multiple cards. But if you're splashing just that one powerful card, this is gonna be great. Same like treasures. Like if you're splashing from treasures and you don't have that many, you don't want to include like 3 cards of the third color. So it's similar in that effect. But I'm on a pretty high D plus for this. I don't think it's that powerful. Sometimes
right,
you don't want to. Yeah.
I'm convinced I'll go up to a C.
Oh, you went from a C minus to C?
Yeah, thanks, Lola.
No problem. But yeah, milling it is pretty good. But sometimes it's just gonna be like. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go to C minus. Like this, I think this has a good place in this set. Yeah, because fixing is not that good. There are no lands. There are no lands that fix, except the Evolving Wilds. Fixing is not that good. This is gonna help. Okay, I'm on a C minus. You know when you need it though. I'm not gonna pick this super.
No, it's my turn.
Okay, sorry.
I don't like this card. It's a D, and you're hyping this too much. The best thing about this is that because you sack it immediately, it's protected from like the random artifact hate that's present. So you just want to. I mean, I think it's slightly safer in the graveyard than it is on the board. Also because we do have graveyard hate as well. So.
What do you mean safer in the graveyard? Why do you care about them killing this, or do you care much about them destroying this?
Imagine if so what I'm doing is speaking something in my mind. So what I should have started with, this is like Golden Egg, like somebody said in chat.
Yeah.
Except that because it sacks itself, it protects from artifact hate on the board, right?
Yeah.
So because this is templated this way instead of like just another Golden Egg but in pumpkin form.
But there is self-mill, which is pretty good in this set. I don't know how you're gonna think about it, Mobieus, but self-mill is beautiful.
Yeah, so just let's not go down that road.
We gotta go down that road.
Yeah, when we reach mill cards, and then we'll begrudgingly talk about it. Let's move on for now.
I cannot wait.
All right, resetting grades.
Okay, chat is on D+.
Let's talk about Silver Bolt. 1 for an artifact. 3 and tap it, sacrifice Silver Bolt, deals 3 damage to target creature. If a werewolf is dealt damage this way, destroy it. Not terrible. I don't think this is terrible. If you desperately sort of need yourselves a removal, the last card reminiscent of this was Scald and Cauldron, which was okay, which is always just okay. Being able to kill large werewolves is actually a pretty meaningful upside, considering a lot of the large cards are going to be werewolves. Notably speaking, I believe that this is an assumption I'm making. Even if it's something that's day-bound but can flip into a werewolf, it's still considered werewolf type, right? Like they're usually werewolf on the type line. So like even if it's not nighttime, you can still shoot like a 4 toughness werewolf, and then it still kills it. Right?
Actually.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
No, I think that I've seen at least one where he's just a human, and then he suddenly becomes a werewolf. I think there's at least one, unless I'm mistaken.
I might be getting confused with how the werewolves used to be, because the werewolves used to be werewolves on both front side and back side, but I could be wrong. Regardless, being able to kill larger things with this is a meaningful upgrade. I like this a decent amount. C-.
Yeah, I mean, no flash, 3 mana, 3 damage, no flash. But yeah, it can kill werewolves. Not sure why this. I guess they thought that werewolves are a bit too strong, with the nightbound side being pretty powerful. But yeah, there are also human werewolves. No. Is it human werewolf or yeah? It's always human werewolf.
It's always
right?
human werewolf. You were right, Scotty. I was mistaken. I was thinking about a flashbacky type card. I got it confused. But you're right. They are always human werewolves.
So.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give it a C-. I mean, if you need it, you need it. It could go down. Removal seems pretty good in this set. But yeah, C-, especially good in sideboard. But it's just like 3 damage can kill anything. If you don't get removal, this will help you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, basically that last thing about removal's decent. So and I would rate this lower than I usually would. So I'm putting it at a D+.
Okay.
Neat. Stuffed Bear. 2 mana for an artifact. 2. Stuffed Bear becomes a 4/4 green bear artifact creature until end of turn. Hello, Mimic.
Fuck this.
Mimic.
Welcome back, Mimic, but slightly larger. You want to know a fun AFR fact? I have a 33% win rate against cast Mimics against me.
Oh,
I've died to many Mimics.
Oh my god.
Mimics kill me a lot. But no, that's even with the extra +1/+1, even though it's significant, I really don't want to put these in my deck. I really don't want to jam 2 mana to activate to have a creature. I'm going to put this at a D. I mean, you can put this in your deck and it will do things, but it's going to do things at such a bad rate that I'd hopefully cut it every time. D.
F. Chat is on an F. This is a fucking F. This is shit. This is no. Mimic, never gonna play it. This, never gonna play this. It's an F. There's no way I'm gonna play this.
I give it a D-. I don't feel that strongly about it. I like it, the art of it, so the name. So I'm gonna play it sometimes just for memes.
Costs so much. And why is it not a zombie?
Actually, that's a good point. Would you rather play 18 lands? Yes, you would. Okay, I'll go down to an F. Good shout, Alex. I didn't do the land check on it. I would rather play a land.
Tell us how
you know, I wouldn't. I think +1/+1 is significant upgrade over Mimic, but still, I think it stinks.
You've died to Mimic. I've never died to a Mimic.
Yeah, you don't know how to play against Mimics. You just make a better deck.
Okay. I died to a Mimic with a Great Axe on it.
You lost to a Mimic with a Great Axe on it?
Oh yeah, 9 mana.
Okay.
Or 8 mana? I don't know.
7 mana. Right? Yeah.
Alright, Evolving Wilds. Resetting grade. Evolving Wilds, it's a land. We know it, we love it. Tap it, sack it, and get a basic land type. It's the only common fixer in the set. It's going to be very, very important. I would always usually play the first one if I'm not in a hyper proactive deck with 1-drops. I'd always play the first one in a 2-color deck. C+.
C+.
Alright, I'm going to say this again. I know it's annoying, but Lola, the thing you sent me on Discord is not, like, that's not the syntax what you guys are using for Scryfall. Because we're still on commons. The syntax you sent me does not include lands. Like, it specifically removes lands.
Ah, that's true. That's another thing. Everything else is gonna be okay.
It wasn't in the right order either.
Okay, I'm gonna fix the order for you.
Send me the exact link of what you got
before it's your
open,
time, okay? By the way, Mobieus, can you put this on a C for me?
Colorless. Wait. It's not on the tier list either. Land. There we go.
C seems fine. I'm never picking Wilds on a C+. Ever. Ever, ever. But, yeah, when you need Wilds, you take it. It can become a C+. By its own, it's never a C+. In the first 5 picks, it's never a C+. It's never a C+. Scotty, Evolving Wilds is never a C+ for you in the first 5 picks. Ever.
C+. First pick it.
You're doing that in AFR.
Evolving Wilds?
Yeah, you're first picking it.
In a weak pack, yeah. I do take it pretty highly.
In a weak pack.
If I take a C+, it's usually a pretty weak pack.
But if you're okay.
The list that you gave me orders it by CMC.
Yeah, I told you to remove that.
But that's better. I agree with Ian on that. We should do it by CMC when we get to colors.
It is better.
Oh, yes.
It is better. There was no time to do it by CMC. I need to change every single name of every single card. So there is what, 270 cards that I need to change names for.
Yeah. As usual. We gotta do it.
Yeah, you would be angry at me if I was doing that, because we would be starting later.
Extremely angry. It's all good. I've updated the grade. My grade is also a C. I've learned from my past grades for Evolving Wilds and lands in general that I've been overrated with my good buddy Scotty. So I'm gonna go down on it a little bit from my usual.
Nice.
Give it a C.
I was always fighting about overrating it.
Right.
Was there a question? I just had a C+.
Yeah.
But...
Did you give it a C+? You did, right?
Yeah, C+ is good.
Yeah. Just double checking. Yeah, I think I'm off that train of lands being great, especially in like a synergistic set like this, where I'm just gonna be going for my 2 colors.
Yep.
Ready for ready for the next card? Is it Mobieus? Okay, Moon Silver Key.
We're doing uncommons now, yeah?
Yeah, Moon Silver Key is 2 mana for an artifact. 1, sacrifice. Sacrifice Moon Silver Key, search your library for an artifact card with a mana ability or basic land. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Okay, if you're using this to fetch out a basic land, that is a really bad rate. The difference between 1 mana and 1 to sack and like 2 mana and 1 to sack is massive. And 1 mana, 1 to sack I don't think is phenomenal. And this card, I think, is even less than phenomenal. Don't love it. I'm going to put this at like a D-.
Yeah, this costs so much. And you put it in your hand. Yeah, I'm on a D for this. If you really need it, you take it D.
Why would you really need this?
You really need to splash. You have amazing splashes, and you got 2 of these, and that's what you got.
And then the question becomes, are your splashes really that good?
Probably,
that you're
yeah.
playing 2 Moonsilver keys in your deck?
Probably, yeah.
I'm gonna give it a D-. I'm not on board with this.
And it works with this.
All right, next.
This.
All right, Mystic Skull, 2 mana, 1 tap to add 1 mana of any color, and 5 and tap to transform Mystic Skull. Mystic Skull transforms into Mystic Monastery, which is an artifact creature construct. It's a 5/6, and it also fixes all your lands. It turns all your lands into 5-color shenanigan lands.
Wait, did you say monastery?
Is it not Monastery? Mystic Monstrosity. Oh, okay.
Like, wait a minute, I don't remember it looking angelic or whatever. That's hilarious.
I think this card is cool. I also think this card will play out worse than it looks. Like, if you want to, I mean, it's not a super fair comparison, but I think I'd rather have a cantrip on its face, kind of like Prophetic Prism, than being able to transform in the late game. Even though, that being said, being able to hit your 5th mana and being able to slam dunk this into a 5/6 is quite powerful. I think this card is perfectly fine. I'm going to put this at a C.
I'm gonna put it in a... there is some artifact removal, yeah. So Chad is only on a D, only 1 vote. Don't think it's high as a C. It's nice, like, it doesn't ramp you, but yeah, it fixes you for no extra mana. And it can become a 5/6 that still fixes you without tapping. 5 mana, 5/6.
It fully fixes you though. When you transform it, you're fully fixed, aren't you? Like, whatever crazy splashes you have, you can all play them all.
I'm on a C for it. I'm actually also on a C for it, yeah. It's just like 5/6 is fine in the end, but you're not gonna put this in any deck. It's just when you are playing that 3rd, 4th color, so sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, that's when I put it in. When I am splashing, I would like to play one of these. It's good. I like the effect of. I like all the cards that give all your lands mana fixing, but I mean, it's not great, is it? So unless you're really needing to splash, so 5/6 body is very good too.
Okay.
That's it.
But because there's so little, the fixing is not the best in this set. So like these are a bit higher than usual, I think, just because you really wanna like. You need to get them. You cannot just say, okay, I'm gonna have good fixing, gonna get those treasures, I'm gonna get those dual lands and so on. Scotty?
Let's go Field of Ruin. Field of Ruin is land. You can tap it to add colorless, or you can pay 2, tap it, sacrifice Field of Ruin, destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. Each player sacrifices their library for a basic land card, puts it into the battlefield, then shuffles important plant for constructed F.
F, thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Let's just give it an F and move on.
Write exclamation mark vote so you can vote with us, guys. Do you untap as part of the transform? No. When you're transforming, let's get back a little bit. When you're transforming anything, everything that creature had, all the effects, all the auras, whatever, they stay on the card, right? The text just changes. Everything else stays. It's you can treat transform as an aura. Like think of it like that. Think of it like putting an aura on a creature. It's not exactly the same, but that's it doesn't interact with aura things obviously, but yeah, that's something similar to what's going on. Everything stays the same. If it's tapped, if it's enchanted, I don't know, maybe maybe it has enchantment-based removal on it, it still stays there, like pacifism, for example, and shit like that. So yeah. Scotty, you wanna finish? Usually we're gonna do one color per one person, or how do we do this?
We'll go to the Celestis. The Celestis, 3 mana for a legendary artifact. Whew, here we go. If it's neither night nor day, it becomes day as the Celestis enters the battlefield. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. 3 and tap it. If it's night, it becomes day. Otherwise, it becomes night. Activate only as a sorcery. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you gain 1 life. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So here's the deal, right? This is our first actual card represented with the day-night cycle. Basically, as soon as you play this, the day-night cycle starts being tracked in the game. You cast the Celestis with no other day-night in play, it becomes day, right? Then the thing that we talked about in the very beginning of the set review comes into play, where if you cast no spells in your turn, it flips to night. Then if the active player casts 2 spells in their turn, it flips back to day. Whenever day and night flip-flop, you loot, and you gain 1 life. And you also have the ability to forcibly change day to night by paying 3 mana. Overall, I don't think I'm incredibly jazzed about this. I think it's okay. I think this card is perfectly fine. But for 3 mana for a Mana Rock, usually generally pretty unexciting and limited. And for the fact you pay 3 mana to make this like a looter is reasonable upside. If you can control the way that your day-night cycle works, and you can get incremental value off of things flipping from day to night, which there are a decent number of cards in the set that do this, it's not bad. But overall, I'm not incredibly excited about this. I'm going to put it a C.
Yeah, if you need it, you take it. I'm gonna put it on a C-. That's about what it is. It's and nothing is exciting about this. Like if your deck cares about controlling day or night, maybe if you're playing best of 3, you can put it in if you care about controlling day or night for your opponent. And that's I think what this card is. Not gonna do that much for you. If you're not splashing, then you really need to have a deck that cares about this, which is probably not gonna happen. But yeah, gets better in best of 3 from the sideboard. I'm gonna give it a C-. Do you want this as a sideboard card? Great.
No.
Scotty?
Mobieus?
No sideboard.
Okay.
And I don't really like this. I'm on board with well, I was gonna say Scotty, but he gave it a slightly higher grade than you. I don't like this. I'm only picking this. Never first picked this, obviously, and I'm only picking this if I need the mana fixing. So D+ from me.
Okay.
Resetting grades. We're talking about Piffing Needle. Piffing Needle is 1 mana for an artifact. As Piffing Needle enters the battlefield, choose a card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. F. And I guess we should talk about this a little, because I think that this is sort of an appealing effect for people to slide into their decks. You're trading like a card for part of your opponent's card, and it's usually never worth it.
Yep.
Like even if your opponent has a Planeswalker, it's really a tough ask to just throw this in your deck, just to have like a post Planeswalker resolution answer for something.
I mean, you can play it before the Planeswalker.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, but then they might not even have it, and it's rough life.
What if they don't?
Generally,
draw it?
not great.
What if they don't draw it exactly? F is just you never put this in your deck. That's it.
Yeah, that doesn't deserve a sideboard carriage, really.
No, that's horrible. Okay, are we gonna do all of these together?
Yeah, let's just do all of them together.
Oh, by the way, we are on rares and mythics with the last few cards. These are the cards that do not affect how good archetypes are. These are the cards that do not affect how good fixing is, since we are on colorless and lands right now. Some people said there is a cycle of lands. Yes, they are rare and they don't matter. These are same as, like, these affect the set the same as the set would be affected without these existing. Because these are not going to help you splash. You're very rarely going to get one, and you're probably not going to be picking it over something very powerful. So this is extremely rarely gonna get into your deck. Okay?
I mean, I wouldn't say it doesn't affect it at all. Lola's a bit extreme with that, but basically, it's the thing where it's a rare. So if you're lucky, you'll get one in the right colors. Like it's not worth even taking into account really. But it's there. Sometimes you'll get one. But like you
Once
don't think about it as, oh, I may get fixing with the lands, because you won't. You just won't.
I don't think it's affected at all. Like if something happens once in every 50 or 100 drafts, then it doesn't really affect the draft. Because once every 50 drafts, the worst piece of shit card is gonna win you the game. You're gonna get the stuffed bear deck, and it's gonna work for whatever the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, same like this.
All right.
Somebody's gonna if you play stuffed bear every draft, you're one time it's gonna be great and win you the game. Scotty, what do you give this?
All right, so this is the cycle, right? These are coined the slow lands because they come into play untapped if you control 2 or more other lands. So if it's your 3rd land drop or above, it comes into play untapped. I'm going to blanket give all these a C. You love to see them if you're in these specific two colors. They're quite powerful to take over just like random filler of your deck. But early on, it's kind of tough to take because you don't know exactly what colors you're in. But I still like them.
Yeah. These are fine. Probably, I'm just gonna give them a C-. It's like when you need them, you need them. They're never gonna be early picks. When they help you splash something, it's fine. You're gonna pick this pretty late. Could go even to a D+. Yeah, but let's give them a C-. But you know when you need this, when you want to take them.
Yeah. I'm on the same boat as you guys. Like with my Evolving Wilds grade, which I would first pick over this if I was picking a land.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely.
I'm gonna put these on a D+. So it's just.
Yeah, I'm also gonna. Can you change my grade to D-, D+ as well, Mobieus?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like you never pick this early. You pick it super late, and you never expect it as well.
Yeah, Evolving Wilds over this for exactly.
Every time. Every time. Well said, when you need them, you need them.
I think that's everything done.
But I mean, that's gonna be a lot of the times for the colorless fixing cards. Those are the things that we got. Like when you need them, you need them. You do not pick them highly. None of them were very powerful.
We do got one left.
And those are up.
We're doing mythics or?
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
cool.
Yeah, there's one mythic.
We didn't do the. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's talk about the mythic land. Hostile land. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, control ourselves. Hostile land. Tap it for colorless. The 1 and tap it and sacrifice a creature. Put a soul counter in hostile. Then, if there are 3 or more soul counters on it, remove those counters, transform it, then untap it. Activate only as a sorcery. The backside is Creeping In, another beautiful name. It's an artifact creature, a horror construct. It's a 3/7. Whenever Creeping In attacks, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creature cards exiled with Creeping In. And you can pay 4, and Creeping In phases out. So basically, if you attack the first time... Actually, hold on. Does the first ability exile? No, it's sacrifice, right? So you don't get 3 in the get-go. Okay. So it's the first time you attack, it's 1. Second time you attack, it's 2. Then third time, it's 3. If you exile creatures from your graveyard, etc., etc.
Yeah.
All right. I like this card mostly on the grounds that it's a land that you can count, tap it, cast some spells, and then eventually, when you sacrifice your sort of outdated or outmoded creatures, it becomes something more relevant. C+. Colorless is not a free land slot, though. It is a real cost to not have a card that fixes for one color.
Yeah,
But
what do you give it, Scotty?
I still like it. C+. I like it.
C+, you like it? By the way, if you sacrifice a zombie, it gets exiled, right? But no, it doesn't. It just gets sacked. But it still wouldn't be sacrificed. Like, okay.
It wouldn't count even if it did exile.
Yes. Let's say you have a disturbed creature and that exiles when it dies. You sack it with this, but you don't exile it with this. So it's not gonna stay under this card. So that's just one thing to note if people are thinking of having that combo. C+?
C+. It's a land that turns into a pretty big threat.
I don't know.
The names in chat are amazing. Residence Evil.
Not nice. That's good.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hostile Hospital. Great. Amazing.
I don't like it that much. Like, it needs a ton of work, ton of creatures to sack. You need the right deck. Otherwise, I'm just gonna give it a D.
Yeah.
A lot of work, and it's what is this? Like the 3/7 that we worked so much for. You were tapping 2 lands for 3 turns, so that's 6 mana. You sacrifice 3 creatures, and then you go this.
I think the cost of sinking mana into this is much mitigated, considering that this is just a land. At its worst case scenario. Even though, well, worst case scenario is a land that doesn't fix you, which is a real cost, which is why it's not higher for me.
I'm giving this a D-.
Nope.
It's a sorcery. Why do you sack a sorcery? What the fuck is that shit?
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out. If it wasn't sorcery speed sack only, it would be a little bit playable. But the fact that it's sorcery speed, it's really bad. Like, the only deck that really wants this is the Decay deck. And you need to be high on Decay. And even then, it's like, is it even worth it? Probably not. Definitely not worth picking this early. So it's going to be a D from me.